Murli, I would invite you to present our first session to the audience. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody, and very warm welcome to the second day of this conference. We had very exciting panels yesterday. There was a business panel and there was a risk and a surveillance panel. And it was very, very enriching, and panelists were completely talking technology than business and risk management. I was pleasantly surprised when the ICICI risks head, he was saying that we are a technology company. By the way, we are a bank. That is the kind of technology innovation which is happening into the business. And it's a good sign for all of us because the millennial expectations are very, very different. And we need to compete with these fintechs, and we have to be agile and we have to be competitive in the market. That is where this CapTech Conference 2020 is very important. All of you who are going to be there as participants, we are trying to bring in all kind of values in terms of what a big data can do, what a cloud can do, and what securities you need to do, and a panel talking about fintech. Now, before getting into this big data in capital market, what I'm going to do is I'm going to demystify it. I'm going to keep it very, very simple. I'm not going to go into deeper technology today because it's a mixed audience. I want you to understand what big data can do to business. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep it very, very simple. Before getting on to the actual presentation, I want to walk you through how India has evolved in the electronic space of capital market, and how this volume growth has happened and how this data explosion has happened in India. 1994, we had a core group. I was lucky to be part of the core group. When I asked management, what do we do? How many orders and how many trades we should plan for? The visionary, there were a lot of visionaries in the panel. And they all gave me, let's do 25,000 orders and 5,000 trades. Then I said that, look, we cannot construct systems of this size. We have to think a little bigger. So finally, we decided we will go in for 5 lakh orders and 1 lakh trades as a capacity. And we started our journey in 1994. The good part of the journey is within 6 months. The capacity, we went over the capacity and we had to upgrade. This rat race is continuing from that point till this point. The market is booming, the data is exploding, and the capacity is the need of the hour. Then in 2008 to 2010 or 2011, whatever we did in 94, we started reinventing for the new generation which is going to come in. At that point, we were doing about 5,000 orders per second and about 2 million orders in a day. Then I was given the task of conceptualizing and rebuilding this trading architecture. I proposed 100,000 orders per second and 1 billion transactions per day. 2008, when I was doing this, when I said that 1 lakh transactions per second and 1 billion transactions in a day, people were laughing and they were telling me that this guy has gone mad. Finally, after multiple rounds of discussion, we agreed that we will go in for a 1 lakh order messages per second and 1 billion messages per day. Today, you will be surprised to note in 2020, in the month of June, on a given day, we were doing about 200,000 per second and 4 billion messages in a day. That is the kind of volume explosion which has happened. That is the kind of data the market is attempting to handle. Added to this is the complexity of social media. The tons and tons of information is coming in from the unstructured data, which is coming from social media, which is coming from news. And the market is flooded with all these data, and we are responsible for going through this and making sense out of it. And we are responsible for protecting the market and improving the business sentiments and also protecting the investor. That is where the big data in capital market is going to play a critical role. Now, going forward, let me quickly go through what is the global trends. There is a global slowdown. Are you able to see my next slide? Global trends. I can see. Just see.
Yes, sir, we can see.
Yes, we can see. We can see, sir.
Okay. So there is a global slowdown. And the next symbol, all of us are very, very familiar. Global to local. And with this kind of data volume and data explosion, what is happening and the digital footprint increasing, the laws and the surveillance and the risk management, what we need to do, it is putting a lot of pressure onto the system. Now, coming back into the broking environment, if you have to look at the global trends, technology has become a commodity. And everywhere it is plenty of fintechs are available, plenty of solutions are available, and it has become commodity. And also always there is a cost pressure, and people are wanting to reduce the costs. And the members and the intermediaries are trying to build a trust between the investor and the broking system. With this expansion, with this kind of a trust, what they need to build, they need to focus on risk management, and they need to get onto early warning systems. This is what is a global trend, what is facing the capital market. With this, now let us look at what is the problem we have on hand. The slide is big data bane. That is the slide I'm on. You have a mountain of data. There is order. I talked about 4 billion orders, trades, and broadcasts. And there is a profiling data. There is a demographic data. There is KYC data. There are logs, and trading patterns are there. CRMs are there. And a whole lot of social media data is also there. And these data is coming in volumes, velocity, veracity, and variability. That is the kind of mountain of data what we are trying to handle. And what is the ecosystem doing? On the left-hand side, you have the investor. The investor is flooded with fake news, fraudsters. At the same time, the economy is moving from a saving economy to investment and spend economy. The new generation, the millennial, the Generation Y and Generation Z, they are wanting to make their investment work, but at the same time, they have to figure out these fake news, and they have to look at these fraudsters in terms of what is happening around them. Now, the broker has got a different challenges. He has to attract the members. He has to build trust. He has to give them tools, and he has to give them strategies which can work for them. And this is what he has to do with this pile of data, what we are seeing here. And the exchanges has got a different problem. It is 4 billion messages, 200,000 order messages per second, and n number of investors and n number of brokers which is coming onto the system. They are responsible as a self-regulated entity for risk management and surveillance. And moving on to the next one is the regulators. They are correlating with the news. They are correlating with the social media information. And they are also getting information from all the exchanges, and they are supposed to look at the fraud, and they are supposed to look at the anomaly with this pile of data. So with this kind of a problem, what we are into, what can we do with the technology is what I'm going to do in the next 2-3 slides. Now, let us go from the bottom. There is a structured data which is coming from the RDBMS, which is your order data, your trade data, your profiling data, your broadcast data, and other things. There are a lot of unstructured data in the form of news, in the form of social media, in the form of text. It is coming into the market. You need to correlate this data with the data of trades, orders, and see, and arrive at a behavior pattern. Now, there are tools which can take these structured and unstructured data and push into a big data platform. That is how all these information is pushed into the next row, wherein you have that big data storage, and push all these 4 billion messages and also unstructured messages, whatever is coming into a big data. Now we have created a big data platform or a data lake, which is available to you in a form. It could be a hired service, or it could be a data platform, or it could be your own platform. Now, what do I do with this data? Now I'm going to go to the top one, wherein there are 5 different tools I'm going to talk to you. The first one is the API. The API, what it does is it opens out this data mart or big data lake into a reusable marketplace, wherein the marketplace can connect to through the API and pull the information what they need, and they can construct their own front end or own risk management systems or own surveillance or own pattern recognition. There are players in India who has done this. They have opened out their order management system platform, and they have given API for various things, and the data is available to the entire ecosystem. They can consume the data the way they want, and they can make use of this data in taking decisions. The next one is the IoT, the facility which allows you to connect and pull the information or push the information or transact. The new millennial, what they want to do is they want to trade anytime, any place, through any device. So we need to have this IoT enabled in our big data system, so that they are able to access this data anytime, any place, and through any device, and make their decision making. Then the next one is the data analytics. There is 4 billion data per day, and a whole lot of unstructured information is coming into this data warehouse. The data analytics tools, what they give is they give you an insight, and you can take a revenue decisions, or you can work on your compliance using data analytics. I'm going to give some examples in the next slide. This is to set a context in terms of what you can do with this big data. And the next one is artificial intelligence. Moving beyond the data analytics works on some rule-based or on some structured and unstructured combination across databases. The next one is we want to introduce artificial intelligence and machine learning. What they do is they define the problem, they put this data set into this, they train the system to learn from the data set, and it will predict the behavior of how the market is behaving to a particular news, or how a user is behaving in an investment pattern. These kind of predictions can be done. Also, we are running today with a large amount of infrastructure. If you look at an infrastructure at NSC, that's the largest technology infrastructure in Asia. If we have to run it at 100% uptime, you need to have some predictive data analytics, which part is behaving in a normal way, which part is not behaving in a normal way. And then you need to take corrective actions. That is where the AI and ML is going to help. With this kind of explosion happening, if you try to do all these things manually, it is not going to be accurate, and it is not going to be timely reporting to regulators. That is where IPAs and RPAs are going to help you. So this is in a nutshell. There is a structured and unstructured data coming in. I have explained to you what is structured and what is unstructured data. Push this into a big data platform. And then there are 5 different tools which is explained by me, wherein you can get into this data and you can explain to the market in terms of what you can do. Now, moving on, I'm going to give you some few examples to understand how the market works. Now, I'm going to go from right to left, because there are some interesting things what is happening in the strategy in terms of time and other things. I'm trying to manage my time. That is where I'm going to go from right to left. I'm going to talk about a company called Algorithms. This is this tool, and this artificial intelligence tool is developed by a trader. And while the person was working in a corporate, whenever a strategy is given, when it is converted by technology fellows, there was a miss, there was a hit. And this person wanted to develop a platform wherein a trader can decide what is the strategy, what he wants to do. He can put it in English. This will have intelligence, this will have learning ability, and it will convert it into an algo. And you can backtest this algo and you can deploy it into the market. That is one example of how strategy is enabled by artificial intelligence platform. And then I want to talk about something called a data miner. What it does is it crawls, it detects high impact news items, and it gives an early warning. Here, what they use is they use deep learning and multi-model fusion engines, which is giving predictions little more closer, and accuracy is very high. There are n number of examples. In the interest of time, I'm going to give two examples in each case, each category, and I'm going to move on. And now I'm going to our own backyard at Tennessee. We are using something like Neo4j and Elastic for cross-silo investigation. This is to detect if there is any fraud or any anomaly. That is in the business. The second example is, since it is a large electronic platform and each and every component has to function, if the exchange has to function at 100% availability, they've deployed a tool wherein it will collect all the logs and the behavior pattern of all the equipments. It will compare with the normal behavior. In case if there is any abnormality over there, it will flag it off to the system people and they have to take corrective action. And moving on to visual surveillance. Yesterday, NASDAQ person talked about visual surveillance. And that is the best possible tool which is used by almost all the exchanges and all the regulators, wherein it takes in all these information and also it takes the business information from outside. It can do a correlation between the current online data which is coming in, online news it is coming in, and it can give you a visual representation of, in case if there is a one-to-one trading happening or a circular trading happening or an insider trading is happening, and also there is a one-directional trading happening. All those things it can visually give you as a visual surveillance, and that has been effective, and it is used in many exchanges. And the last one is sentiment analysis, which is going to be very useful to the investor community. I'm going to talk about two companies. One is robo-advisor. This is a company which democratized the financial market and provided APIs and almost all possible applications in the hand of investor. Also, their AI platform, what it can do is it can go through the investment pattern of a particular investor, and whenever there is a surplus fund coming into the investor, it can project these are the possible avenues of investment, and that is the kind of predictions it can give it to the investor in its own hand. In our own backyard, we have Zerodha, who has democratized this, and he is the platform is offering plethora of services to the community, and it is called Nudge. And I'll talk about Nudge sometime later. And also BNP has given a platform called the Neo, which is doing a very similar thing like what Zerodha is doing or robo-advisor is doing. This is the kind of examples you can look at. I'm going to give a metrics of what other things what you can do. You can do on the trading area, you can do on the data area, you can do on the risk area, you can do on the compliance area, and you can do on the operations and customer experience. And the four areas what you will address is customer experience personalization, intelligent trading strategies, trust and authenticity, surveillance, risk compliance, and data-driven services, operational efficiency. There is a 6x3 matrix. What I have given under this, there are n number of services, n number of things what you can do with this artificial intelligence and machine learning sitting on top of a data warehouse. Now, having talked about what you can do, how you can do, what is it? What are the 4 steps involved in creating this, and what are the tool sets I have given here? The ingest is first step, wherein you pull the data, whether it is structured or unstructured, and insert into a relationship database or into a data warehouse or into a big data platform. The retain is the big data platform, what you can use to store this data and retrieve it at a later point. The third step is the analyze. Analyze, what it does is it gives you quick retrieval of data. It gives you indexing. It gives you a lot of search power. And you can write a lot of algorithm using this analyze. And there are these are the 3 or 4 examples I have given. And the visualize is once your analysis done, and it has to be given to a consumer in a presentable form, in a easy, in a form where he can consume. And these are the tools what he can use. So ingest is one which pulls the data and pushes into your big data platform. And big data platform, there are some examples I have given, and this is going to retain your data. Third one is it gives you a search ability and it gives you analysis ability and slice and dice the data. And the last part of it is the visualize one, which presents it in a graphic form to the end user so that he can easily consume the data. Finally, there are platform players like RoboAdvisor and Zeroda and Neo, and these are some of the examples. There are many more. And there are some fintech players who are there. Now it is time. A complete ecosystem of fintech players, platform players, brokers, exchanges, and capital market community start working in a collaborative and partnership mode. That is what is going to take us where we want to go going forward. If there is time and if there are any questions, I would be very, very happy to take.
Thank you, sir. I think we've almost finished 5 minutes later than the time. There's one question I'll just quickly ask you, and maybe we can move forward. Somebody is asked, speaking about Excel and CSV data, please explain what are those about and in what sense are those classified under unstructured data?
Okay, see, CSV, why it is coming under unstructured is it is largely structured data is coming in the form of an RDBMS or in the form of a structured your data structure is given and the API is given and it is coming as a structured one. Anything coming out of a RDBMS or relational database outside of it, we call it as unstructured data. That is where CSV and Excel, everything is categorized under unstructured data. That is a simple answer. There are more, furthermore, we can deep dive onto it. But any information can come on Excel sheets, any information can come on CSV. But the quality of information and the qualification, what we have to do before getting into a big data is what is going to be the case, why it is called an unstructured data.
Thank you, sir. I think we will quickly move on to the second session because we have already overshot our time. Thank you very much, sir. I think that's data being a subject which is much talked about. I think there's a lot more to explore. And anybody who is interested about more on the data, there are different tools that sir has mentioned and about what all the other things can be done on the big data and solutioning. Please do reach out to us.